Chapter 30, Gulf Breeze, Florida, 1987. In the vast expanse of the cosmos, our celestial vessel descended upon the picturesque shores of Gulf Breeze, Florida, in the year 1987. I, Azorius, was the first of my species, or any known species, to visit Earth as an entrepreneur. By the year 1987, exploring the planets of underdeveloped and early in development species was governed by loosely binding and overlapping intergalactic treaties. With help from a couple of my friends, my specialty was to exploit loopholes in the treaties that allowed me to earn monetary credits. Any species were no longer concerned with earning monetary credits, which I'm told would be similar to monies or dollars here on Earth. Any of those that I went to the Galactic Academy with considered earning monetary credits to be beneath them, which is a trend that I have also noticed among many of your groups here on Earth as well. Any of my so-called peers seem to forget that intergalactic travel was born out of what you humans would call economic necessity. I was just the next evolution of early space miners. I specialized in intergalactic tourism. Basically, I took 3 advanced species from 7 distant worlds, where monetary credits still existed, to visit planets containing ancient civilizations such as Earth. The intergalactic treaties allowed for this, provided that we blended in with the locals and did not announce our presence as extraterrestrial in nature. Judge me if you will, but I was actually able to profit greatly from this space tourism. Some of my peers referred to me as a glorified tour guide and part-time spaceship captain, but what I really did was allow those who still used monetary credits to feel good about using them. I typically took small groups of my clients to see landmarks, and to participate in antiquated cultural events. I found it easier for my tour groups to blend in where the local population was highly intoxicated, so one of my favorite stops here on Earth was a restaurant that served ale, yard bird, and potatoes. My clients loved the fact that they served the same dish over and over again by only changing the sauces and flavorings that the dead yard bird was smothered in. After arriving on Earth in Florida, I quickly realized that one of the most profitable industries here was alcohol. Humans seemed to have a love for drinking and socializing over a few drinks. My interest was initially piqued when I saw the large amount of dollars being exchanged for alcoholic beverages at bars and restaurants. And so, I decided to explore this further. I visited different establishments throughout Florida and observed humans engaging in what they called happy hour or bar hopping. It was fascinating to see how alcohol played such a prominent role in human social interactions. As an entrepreneur, I saw an opportunity to tap into this market. With my advanced technology and knowledge of distillation processes from other intergalactic civilizations, I was able to create an improved version of humans' alcoholic drinks. I introduced my creations to some of the local bars and restaurants, and they were an instant hit. People were drawn to the unique flavors and effects of my drinks, which were not only enjoyable but also provided certain health benefits to my own species. Some humans were skeptical at first, not used to trying new things, but once they tasted my drinks they were hooked. And as word spread about my special drinks, more and more people flocked to these establishments, eager to try them. Not only did this increase sales for the bars and restaurants that served my drinks, but it also earned more monetary credits for me as well. I started receiving requests from other establishments across this great land of Florida as well as other adjacent lands to supply them with my special alcohol. But perhaps the most surprising aspect of all of this was how easily I blended in with humans during these business interactions. After all, we both shared a love for ale and socializing over drinks. The fact that we chose establishments where this ale would be consumed in bulk made it even easier for me and my tour groups to navigate through human society undetected. And so, in addition to my intergalactic tourism business, I also became known as a successful beverage entrepreneur on Earth. My drinks were even featured in some of the local magazines and newspapers. As my business continued to thrive and expand, I became more curious about the humans' fascination with my special drinks. I found out that they called it IPA, which stood for India Pale Ale. I was intrigued by this name and wondered if it had any connection to the nearby land of Indiana where the people were known for being even more backwards. I found it fascinating how something as simple as beer could have such a cultural significance on this often absurd planet. It made me realize that even though our worlds may be light years apart, we shared a common love for certain things, like good drinks. As more humans became familiar with my special IPA, I also started receiving requests to collaborate with local breweries and distilleries in creating new flavors and varieties. This not only expanded my business even further, but also allowed me to learn more about human culture and traditions surrounding alcohol and other intoxicating substances. As a quick side note here to my future customers, I urge you to stay away from the intoxicant that the humans refer to as the Quaalude. I learned about different brewing techniques, ingredients, and even festivals dedicated solely to celebrating beer, something I never would have imagined existed before visiting the planet Earth. But perhaps the most rewarding part of all of this was seeing humans and space tourists come together over my special ales and mixed drinks. I witnessed friendships forming, relationships blossoming, and people letting loose from their daily stresses while enjoying a cold pint. Sometimes after drinking these pints, two of the Earthlings began to mate with each other. On rare occasions, they would even try to mate with my customers and I. Sometimes this happened in small groups, but typically occurred with only two beings. During my next few trips to Earth, I noticed that after consuming a few pints, some humans would become more flirtatious and engage in physical contact with myself and one another. Sometimes this resulted in a night of passionate mating between two individuals across species. At first, I thought nothing of it, just another unique aspect of human culture. But then, one day a group of humans approached me and asked me to participate in these mating rituals with them. I was taken aback at first, but quickly realized the potential for profit. As an alien from a distant planet, I knew this was something others of my ilk would part with their monetary credits for. So I built yet another business, charging my tourist groups a hefty sum of monetary credits for each session with these Earthlings. To my surprise, more and more humans too began seeking out this experience with me, and soon enough, the word spread like wildfire. My business grew exponentially as beings from all walks of life flocked to me for this unique encounter. And it wasn't just limited to Earth. I started receiving requests from other planets as well. This was a gray area in the intergalactic treaties, but as long as we reported such activities as experimentation instead of entertainment, the practice would be allowed to continue indefinitely. I became known as the go-to being for these interspecies mating experiences, and even expanded my business by partnering with other members of my species and one other species who were also interested in profiting from this opportunity. Of course, not all encounters went smoothly. There were instances where the humans would become too intoxicated or aggressive and needed to be restrained by security measures we had put in place. But overall, it was a lucrative venture that brought in even more monetary credits than my tourism and beer businesses combined. As time went on, I became known as the wealthiest member of my species in history, all thanks to my early misadventures on Earth and similar primitive planets. Through these business ventures as an entrepreneur, I am now responsible for more space travel than any other being in known history.